Many thanks for choosing us. Information available to JoyNews indicates that government has secured over 80% subscription to its domestic debt exchange program. This comes as it continues to race against time to complete renegotiation of its debt stock to help it secure a board-level agreement with the IMF. The finance minister is expected to make an announcement later today on the status of subscription so far. That notwithstanding, members of Pension Bondholders Forum are continuing their picketing of the Finance Ministry to drum home their request for a complete exemption from the domestic debt exchange program. We'll be hearing from them shortly, but first, here's George Riafi of Joy Business Desk with details on the 86% subscription of the government domestic debt exchange program.
Administrative window that government opened for those who are in the process to participate in this offer. What we are picking up from those who acknowledge of this whole transaction is that government has secured the more than 80%. If you work it out, somewhere around 86% in terms of participation.
86.
In terms of the participation in this offer. And one interesting thing is that this also excludes pension funds as well. It's interesting, and you want to take note of that one. It included some individuals who participated in this offer. But one thing that maybe helped push to get this target, or to get what we are picking up from those who have knowledge of this whole transaction, is that you had almost all the major commercial banks participating in this offer, the insurance firms as well, and also the securities industry. And that could be the reason why they've gotten this percentage. Whereas at Friday or even Thursday evening, in terms of monetary-wise, the value, we're looking at somewhere around 90 billion Ghana cedis in terms of persons that have tendered in their bonds to be part of this whole new arrangement. And if it had not been issues about the exemptions that has been granted to these pension funds, government could have hit even over 90% or so. But this is based on the cleanup is still ongoing because necessary settlements and all the rest. But this is what we picked up as at Friday, that this is what government has gotten for this whole debt exchange. But what it means that the government might now move to engage the foreign bondholders. It appears again that when you engage persons who are these institutional investors outside, it appears that they are for this whole domestic debt exchange program, because it appears that they are better off if something is done and they can trade their papers and then move on all the way. So it appears that government might not face that much challenge when it comes to the external bondholders. Even if you look at the bit about the debt cancellation bit, we understand that the Paris Club, they've agreed in principle to engage government on some agreement that could possibly lead to debt cancellation as well. So if they're able to make some significant progress, don't forget that at that side, the IMF has also come on board trying to engage some of these countries and the institutional investors, the bilaterals who have lent some money to government about this whole restructuring thing. So if they close the domestic space, they close the external page, then they might be on their way to go to the IMF. So if they're able to meet all these pre-board conditions, then they can table the formal request to the IMF board. They look at that, they've gotten the assurance from all these creditors that we are in Ghana's whole financing arrangement.
Everything will be fine.
Then the economists will say, all other things being equal, the board could approve Ghana's program first quarter.
Let's now hear from some of the pension bondholders who are not backing down on their demand for total exemption. Among them is a gentleman who traveled all the way from the Oti region to participate. They spoke with James Savage.
I feel that it is highly inappropriate for our age group to leave the aged ones to be the ones picketing alone. If we believe that they have a good cause, we should be joining them. And we should show a good cause to them that, yes, we support their cause. We should not allow the pensioners whose money they are careful planning to take care of their medication and their food in their pensions, for their money to be used to save the country in these times. There are so many options that we can use. So I think that it will be highly unacceptable for us to see them even one of them lose their life or not be able to feed because they could not have access to their planned investment. So it will be a taboo. it will be a taboo in the entire nation. And I call on CSOs, the media, the clergy, the imams, and everybody. We should rally and say, this is not the money that we need to save our country at this time.
Right. So that is a former General Secretary of the Ghana Pharmacists Association. He is not a pensioner, but he's here this morning to give solidarity to the pensioners. Thank you so much, sir, for your time. And I have another pensioner here. He's traveled all the way from the OT region to be here this morning to also picket. Let's find out if he's also... sir, thank you for your time this morning.
Thank you.
Tell us about yourself.
Oh, my name is Louis Tebretu. I'm also a pensioner and a bondholder.
Okay, you are also a bondholder. Are you here purposely for this, or you are in town and decided to be here this morning?
I'm here purposely for this because I am coming from OT region. When last week I saw a news flash that pensioners were picketing here. So I decided to join them this morning to also add my voice to it.
When did you invest in the bond?
2015.
2015?
No, sorry, 2017.
2017. Have you had any benefit from the bond over the years?
Yes, the last benefit was in September 2020.
We'll be bringing you more on this because the Pension Bondholders Forum is meeting the IGP this afternoon. We are there to bring you all the details. Meanwhile, a 4-year-old boy nearly lost his life in the Volta region after 2 ambulance stations refused to transport him from the Ziope Health Center to Ho for medical care. An eyewitness says the ambulance service asked the boy's parent to follow protocols before they could be of help. The boy is said to have been referred to the Ho Regional Hospital for further treatment on Saturday, but according to the nurses, all efforts to reach the ambulance service in Ziope proved futile. Let's take you to the Volta region and speak with the Acting Regional Director of Health, Dr. Sena Nukwisi Jokoto. Doc, many thanks for your time. What have you gathered from the incident so far?
Thank you very much. Let me commend the public for this particular interest in this matter, because we all want to see the best for the Volta region. What we have gathered on this particular matter is that a night before the incident, the child had come to one of our facilities here in the Volta region, that is the health center at Ziope. And per assessment, they were referred to the teaching hospital in Ho, which is about 20 minutes drive. The mother was unable to go to the teaching hospital on that night and came the next day, where the child was moderately to severely ill. The nurses on duty made efforts to reach the ambulance service, and that is where the challenge is. They were not able to get through to the ambulance service through the control center. Later, we were to find out that the number that particular nurse had was not the control center's number. So it meant that the information had not gotten to the ambulance service. But in the midst of that delay, the nurse made a quick judgment call that if the child can go to Ho unassisted, then it will be prudent that an alternative vehicular arrangement is made. So the arrangement was made for this child. The child got to the teaching hospital safely. And as I speak now, he's responding to treatment. I'll add that over the period, the country has invested in the ambulance service, and we have made progress. But definitely, we still have some gaps that we have to deal with, we have to fill. Okay. Referral systems are key. So we are hoping that some of these exposures will lead us to further strengthening the referral system in the country.
I'm glad that you say the boy is doing well, but what is the protocol regarding securing an ambulance, especially in emergency situations?
The hospitals are linked to all the ambulances, and knowing that it's only one ambulance operating per district, sometimes they could be engaged. So when you speak to the control center, they will link you to the ambulance. So that is the protocol. You have to get to the control center. The control center would get you the ambulance that is available at that point. And the ambulance would move to that particular point, pick the client, and then send to the hospital that the client has been referred to. So that is the laid-down protocol that we work with.
So you said the boy is doing well. Is he in your custody? Is he still in the hospital, or he's been discharged?
He's in the custody of the teaching hospital.
Okay.
And he's responding to treatment.
In terms of percentage-wise, I mean, how well is he?
Well, I'll say that he's doing better than when he reported. We are hoping for a quick recovery for the boy. And we would also want to tell the caregivers that we wish that they would have gotten better service, but we are going to look into it and ensure that subsequently clients will be treated much better.
What was he suffering from? Is it possible to share with us?
That will breach doctor-patient confidentiality, but I can say that he was moderately to severely ill, and he needed attention that could only be offered at a tertiary level or a secondary level. They went to the health center initially. The health center thought that they would receive better care, either in a regional hospital or the teaching hospital, and the closest was the whole teaching hospital, which is about 20 minutes drive from the ZOP Health Center. So that exactly was done.
Let's look at the region generally. Are you shortchanged in emergency services?
I can say that emergency services can have improved over time, but definitely there's still more room for improvement. So we are not at the ideal position yet, just like any part of the country. I don't think that we have reached the ideal levels if we compare us with more developed countries across the world. But we have to strive and continue to work towards excellence. So as a health service, one of our values is to pursue excellence, and we'll continue to pursue excellence working with all stakeholders.
I'm grateful for your time, Dr. Sedanukwesi Jokoto. He's Acting Volta Regional Director of Health Services. Now, staff members of the Northern Electricity Distribution Company, Netco, are continuing their sit-down strike to demand the removal of the Managing Director of Netco, Osemeni Ayuba, who they are accusing of running the company down. As part of the strike, the staff members are embarking on a partial withdrawal of services except emergency and power vending services. The Senior Staff Association had catalogued some demands and presented to the company's board reasons they want the MD out, but the board had referred the matter to the Minister for Energy, Dr. Matthew Poko Prempe, for redress. A meeting with the minister last Thursday over the matter ended unresolved. A statement signed by William Asari, chairman of the Senior Staff Association, said the staff will report to the office and carry out office assignments, but will not go out to attend to any faults or issue except emergency. He joins us live with more. William, thank you so much for joining us. Exactly what has the managing director done, which you describe as running the company down, and for which you want him out?
Okay, thank you, Aisha. Good afternoon, and good afternoon to your listeners. Mr. Ayuba was brought in somewhere in 2019. He was sensibly helped turn around our finances.
Hello, William. Hello, William. Yes, so William is chairman of the Senior Staff Association of Netco, and they say that they want their managing director out. As we speak, they are currently on a sit-down strike. They say they will not work, but will only attend to emergency services. We're trying to get William Asari. He's the chairman of the Senior Staff Association. He speaks for the group, and he will be explaining to us why they want the managing director out, and also what the outcome of their meeting with the Minister of Energy was. He will share all of that with us. Hello, Mr. Asari, are you back?
Yes, I'm back.
All right, we'll try and get him back to speak more on this. Back here in Accra, 11 sanitation offenders are in court for various charges raised against them by the Accra Metropolitan Assembly. This is the latest from the last 2 inspections under the Clean Ghana campaign, resulting in the arrest of close to 50 people at the Agbegloshi market. Foodstuff vendors were the most offenders. Director of the Metro Public Health Department at AMA, Madam Florence Kuchi, gives further details of the status of those arrested as well as their foodstuff which were seized.
And 45 persons in the last operation. That is about 50 people in the last, the last 2 operations. So out of these 50, some were made to sign an undertaking to go and not to be there again. Some too were taken to court. 11 persons were taken to court last week, Thursday.
Out of the about 50,
yes,
11 were taken to court.
11 were taken to court. They were detained at the police custody on Wednesday. Then Thursday, they were taken to La Court. Signing a bond at the court is very, very important. When you sign a bond at the court and you go back and do whatever you've done and you are being sent, nobody will sit on your case. You will just be asked to go for remand. And when they even went and came, I told you they were detained on Wednesday. Then on Thursday, they were taken to court. When they came to tell us the story that they themselves will see to it that nobody will sell there again. The day they went to their cells, the food they took there, it was taken from them, and they themselves, they couldn't even sleep. The following morning, they were taken to court, and they have to go and sign the bond. Even the up and down alone is something. And their leaders assured us that they were going to have a meeting. So we told them when they are having that meeting, we want to be part of that meeting, to also tell them what to do and what not to do. And I can tell you, on Saturday, I was at Agbegloshi Market. The place was traffic was flowing, people were not by the roadside. So we hope as we continue, it is going to be, people will adhere to it. When you take somebody on and the person go back and come and tell the story, people will see. But when you take them and you leave them as we used to do, we seize their goods, they come, they pay cost of abatement about maybe 150, 200, we give the goods to them, they go. We were just doing a merry-go-round. This time along, we don't want to continue with the merry-go-round. We want to sustain. You can see how the drains are very dirty, and that is where people are living. Their livelihood depends on the place. They are not even thinking about their health. They are just thinking about the money, forgetting that the money that you get when you fall sick, you end up using all the money to take care of yourself. And if you don't even take care, you could lose your life.
So you're saying that without placing men there to ensure enforcement, other people, not the same people, other people will not come and take advantage and do the same thing?
When you see that your neighbor's beard is burning, it's better for you to fetch water and even put it on the beard, not to put it by your side. Just put it there so that the beard, when the fire gets to your place, your beard will not get burnt. But if you see your neighbor beard getting burned and you think it's not me, I will come, definitely it will come. Now we know that everybody is aware that they are not supposed to sit by the roadside to sell. When you go to Agbegloshi Market is very big. The left is very big for any kind of food product you want. The right is also very big for any kind of food product you want. We have the yam market. It's there. Why don't you go in there to go and sell? And you prefer to come and stand by the roadside. So we are cautioning people who are also patronizing these people by the roadside. As time goes on, when we come to enforce our laws and we get you buying by the roadside, we arrest you who is buying and arrest the person who is also.
We can now go back to Tamale, where Netco staff are on strike. They say they will not work, but will only attend to emergency situations. Chairman of the Senior Staff Association has joined us via phone. William, I was asking you earlier what exactly the managing director has done for which you think he must lose his job.
Okay, thank you, Aisha. I was saying that Mr. Ayuba was brought in somewhere in 2019 to ostensibly help us turn around our finances. If you take our net loss, our net financial loss from 2019 up to date, it has deteriorated from about 350 million to over 400 million last year. For a company like this, it will require a strategy to clearly define where the company wants to go aimed at bringing down the losses and improving upon performance in the Netco. Sadly, for the 3.5 years Netco, Mr. Ayuba has led Netco, there hasn't been any strategy, but there's a document that was launched by management that was supposed to help turn around our finances. If you take the strategy and you take the budget, they are both looking at different directions. And we have drawn management attention time without number. And because of the lack of a clear strategic direction for the company, management has spent over $40 million within these 3 years on projects that have not yielded any results, to the extent that our cash flow situation is worsening by the day. If you look at last year, for example, our contractors in Upper East area had to lay down their tools because we were just unable to pay them for the services they have rendered to Netco. If you also look at the projects that management has done over the 3.5 years, it has not yielded the desired results. Fourthly, some management inaction has led to huge revenue loss to Netco. Aisha, in September last year, PLC announced new tariffs for utilities. We are losing 47% of the power we buy internally. We are deploying some meters internally to help reduce the losses. Between September up to December, we were unable to implement the tariff that has been approved by PLC. That occasioned a loss over 2 million Ghana cedis within just that one period. And a lot of other instances where we think that management is not showing leadership, there is a need for a change in leadership. Staff are also lacking some basic distribution line and substation maintenance too, to the extent that our staff across all the districts are working under serious conditions due to the lack of basic substation line maintenance too.
So, William, what was the outcome of your meeting with the Energy Minister?
Well, the minister indicated that he is not appointing authority and he will need to engage His Excellency the President. So he actually asked us to, there were some documents we referred to which were not attached to our original resolution. He asked that we put all together and submit the document addressed to him so that he will take it up with His Excellency the President. That submission has been made this morning.
All right. So how long do you intend to go on this strike?
Well, as leaders, we will give the minister some time to resolve the issue for us. As and when it becomes necessary, we will convene among ourselves and with the general staff and decide the way forward.
And how early are you looking at this issue to be resolved? Did the minister give you any timeline?
He did not give us a specific timeline, but he indicated at a meeting that he has to take it up with His Excellency the President. We're expecting that, our expectation is that the minister will get back to us by close of week this week.
Grateful for your time. William Asari, he's chairman of the Senior Staff Association of Netco, and he's been telling us why his members are on strike and that they will not work until their issues presented to the Minister of Energy is resolved. Let's come back to Accra because the Ghana Grid company Gridco says the dip in power supply in recent times is as a result of the altering of their systems at Galamsey sites and the old legacy machines that need replacement. According to Gridco, substantial funding has been received to enable them reconstruct many of their old legacy lines in order to guarantee a more stable supply of power in the country. Speaking at the Meet the Press series at the Information Ministry, Chief Executive Officer of Gridco, Ebenezer Kofi Esienye, indicated that the recent commissioning of 3 substations will help stabilize the situation.
I will plead with our friends in the media. We really need to work together on these aspects of things. Overgrown of our lines, we need to clear them. A lot has happened with the grid, appeared to be quite calm and stable. The grid really doesn't like too much of noise. And therefore, we are making a conscious effort to clear the lines, but it comes at a huge cost. And we need to count on you to let us educate our brothers whose farms these lines go through, so that if there are trees that are in their farm, we may have to cut them. It will impact a little on some of their cocoa trees. It is not with bad intention, but it is for the good of all of us. That's why we do those things. You can see the picture that shows where a line passes. It's quite challenging. Some of the lines go through very thick forest, extremely thick. And the reason is that we also try to minimize the cutting or going through the forest without opening it up too much. That leads to those who go and illegally harvest the timber. So we blend the two in the way we do our things. Galamsey, I don't know whether the gold has started to normally form around the base of our towers. It's becoming a problem for us where galamseyers consciously dig under our lines. There are challenges where we needed to go and relocate the tower at an additional cost. The one that there was working so well, but you can see that the line guys will come and tell us that tower is collapsing because, or some of the steel members have been removed by the galamseyers, because I understand they use it to do whatever in their tunnels. I've never been to any of the tunnels, so I don't know how they do it, but that's what I understand. These are things that we need to let our brothers and sisters appreciate, that this infrastructure are there for our collective good, and we need to protect them. Occasionally, as a power system, we normally have some challenges. Normally, when you see the lines, you don't see the fire on them, but they are extremely dangerous. Extremely. They are quiet, but they are extremely dangerous. And therefore, when we make the case that, look, we need to stay off the right of way because of challenges. Quite recently, a typical one tipper truck, when people see the corridor that are available, they assume it has no purpose.
Ojo Ajete Enum, a victim of police brutality who was shot in the head in 2018 but yet miraculously survived, has died and finally been laid to rest. Ojo's death wish was for the police to investigate and punish the perpetrator who shot him at Abokobi Akbomand when he tried settling a dispute. In a follow-up of JoyNews' documentary, As If We Weren't Human, features editor Jojo Kobina caught up with the widow, Deborah Ajele, who says the justice system has failed her, so she's looking up to God.
The story of Elias Ojo Ajete Anum is bizarre. In May 2018, the police had a disagreement with Ojo's brother, so he tried settling the issue. Suddenly, one of the policemen's guns went off, sending a bullet from one side of his face to the other. Ojo survived, but became paralyzed. He lost his speech, and the nerves in his legs were also affected. Ojo almost lost all his memory. He could not remember his wife and children, but he said he could identify the policeman who shot him. He promised never to let go of the case, so he held on, but gave up in January 2023. His children mourn him for the last time. Ojo's wife, Deborah, says her tears are finished. She had been crying since 2018.
I don't know what to do to myself. No matter how you cry, or the person has gone already, so nothing else to do about it.
6 months before Ojo died, he could not remember his wife.
Sometimes he can't recognize me. He will be asking me, who am I? Then the next time, when I ask him, who am I will tell him that I'm his wife. But sometimes when you ask him, he said he don't know me. But sometimes when I ask him, he said I'm his wife. That's what we have been. So I've been introducing myself and asking him that maybe does he know that he have kids. This lady who he say is my kid, and this one too, they are my kids. And so sometimes when you ask him something, he reply to you, but sometimes he will never mind you.
Members of the Presbyterian Church Akpoman gathered to mourn the man who was part of them. The police had indeed dealt them a big blow. His 2 children who grew up not knowing their father. When JoyNews contacted the police before the airing of the documentary in 2018, they declined interviews. In 2019, some police officials visited Ojo, promising to investigate the issue, but they never did.
Peace be ame babi ame two ame babi aga mo no kwa ko machine li ame amba slale ame ka ame yashi amba na moni chatun ke boy se ba na ba chatun no se ne ame ka ma ba ame ba o brother say ke man bi ame nya me sa an still no ko wana no ko no ko
Ojo lies in a casket and begins his journey to the unknown world. He is placed 6 feet down the earth.
Well, it is indeed a very tragic event here. Elias is finally being buried. But when he was alive, he had one wish. The wish was for police authorities to investigate and find the person who shot him, investigate and also punish the person. He's now gone, and his family are yearning for that justice, where the person who shot him is identified and given the required punishment.
The head of the family is calling on the police to give the family closure.
Through this your medium, I'm pleading with you. I'm pleading with you. I know how this our man, the IGP, Dampari, so I'm pleading through this your medium to help us find justice to our brother. That's all that I need from you. Please. Whatever you can assist to arrest this perpetrator who perpetrated this horrible incident. Look at him. My brother, I'm being short of words. So please, if you can also assist so that we can find the culprit who did this particular thing.
God is the person who's going to judge, not me. And not him, any human will judge him. It's God.
Jojo Kobna, JoyNews.
We're still live on JoyNews today, coming to you live from our studios in Kokomlimle. Let's take a break. When we return, we'll bring you all you need to know in business.
It's time for the business segment on JoyNews today with me, Beverly Broom. Now, as part of efforts to revamp its operations, empower the youth and boost job creation, Ghana's leading entertainment company, MultiChoice Ghana, has presented brand new vans to some mega dealers to enhance their operation. Here's more in this report.
MultiChoice Ghana, a leading pay TV service provider in the country, has equipped 3 mega dealers in the Greater Accra region with brand new vans to boost their service delivery. Speaking to Joy Business, head of sales at MultiChoice Ghana, Michael Lati, said the move is not only to deepen distribution channels in the country, but also to empower young distributors to develop their operations and boost job creation.
This agenda started a year ago when MultiChoice decided to revamp or recreate its route to market. So we've done several things like appointing mega dealers and restructuring our entire route to market. And to help the mega dealers to be able to deepen distribution, we have acquired these vehicles for them to help them to be able to cover their assigned territories. So there are several things that we have outlined in the course of the year that we will be assisting them with as tools of trade to help them to be able to grow their businesses. By expanding our distribution and improving on it, we are providing a lot of employment for the youth, because currently mega dealers are employing a lot of DSFs. And when we say DSF, they are direct sales force. Today we have in excess of over 800 of them. On a daily basis, these guys go out there to help the dealers to sell the product, and they are rewarded handsomely through commissions that they are paid. They have the distribution agents as well, and then they have other trade partners who help them to be able to sell.
Some of the beneficiaries spoke to Joy Business.
I'm very, very grateful for MultiChoice providing us this van. This van is going to help us a lot to serve other dealers like MMP. We can also supply this, provide decoders to them with the van.
I must be honest, before we have to hire Uber to go around and do other things. But with this, you go with it, you just get the fuel, then you go and supply it to anywhere you want to go. So it will help me a lot.
The distribution forms part of the first 3 of 15 vehicles to be distributed to 15 mega distributors across the country.
Now, government is said to have achieved its targets in the domestic debt exchange program. That's coming after the Finance Ministry secured more than 80% participation by bondholders. This is what Joy Business has picked up from persons with knowledge of the program. George Riafe has the rest of the story.
Joy Business understands that this might be as a result of what is being described as significant participation by all the major commercial banks, firms in the securities industry, and the insurance companies, as well as institutional investors. We are also gathering that there was some significant individual bondholders that participated in this offer. Just before the domestic exchange program closed last Friday, we had picked up that in terms of monetary value, government had bonds tendered in worth more than 90 billion Ghana cedis. However, we understand that this doesn't include pension funds, or let's say pension funds had been excluded from the offer, and government was still able to hit its target for the program. There were initial concerns that the Finance Ministry will struggle to meet the 80% target when all the bonds that are linked to pension funds are excluded. But what will happen to these pension funds that has been excluded from this domestic debt exchange program? Well, an announcement is expected later today in terms of giving the fine details of this domestic debt exchange program. A breakdown of the various subscriptions from institutional to individual bondholders. We'll also get a fair idea in terms of what is next for government now that it has been able to hit its target under this domestic debt exchange program. Whether Ghana could be on track to secure the IMF program by the end of the first quarter of this year.
We have more business on myjoyonline.com/business. I am Beverly Broom. Next is sports.
Let's do sports now on Joy News today with me, Muftao Nabila Abla. The Ghana Football Association has confirmed Chris Hughton as the next coach of the Black Stars. Chris Hughton takes over from Otto Addo, who led the senior national team to the FIFA World Cup in Qatar last year. One person who worked with Chris Hughton is assistant coach Didi Dramani, and he says he's got the right qualities to lead the Black Stars to succeed.
He's a complete person,
a complete person with good experience, with huge maturity in terms of. So when I talk about huge maturity, then it means you know that his experience and his knowledge in the game both together makes him a more mature. And he's a human-centered person. You know, he connects people a lot. And a person who connects people a lot, you know, tells you that he's somebody who really stands out for development. I'll show you his pictures. He know he was here. He came here. I just told him, look, there's something good to come in our environment, so that you understand what a right to dream is all about. And then he came. I sent for him. He came, and we spent the whole day here. He was flying out that very day. We spent time in my technical office to engage with my staff. We spent time to engage with the student fools. So what does it tell? It tells you that this person is a human-centered person. And in our environment, we need people who are human-centered people. People can easily, you know, get at, you know, at that level, you need people who connect and work, you know, so that you bring your experience to bear. And so completely he's a human-centered person who connects people around.
Black Stars assistant coach Lai Kingston, he says that about 70% of the players that participated in the FIFA World Cup in Qatar should be maintained. Speaking on the AM show, Lai Kingston said that most of the players showed the quality they have got, and with such, the chemistry of the team will be built.
I believe I will still maintain at least 70% of the players that went to the World Cup.
Wow.
In the current squad.
That's a huge number.
Yes, 70%. The reason why I said that, if you look at the squad that we took to the World Cup, they are not bad at all. You know, they are not bad at all. You know, because if you try to come in and then change totally everybody on the ground, I don't think you have a solid team. You go in, when you're building a team, you go in with the players that are there already, and then try to bring in the quality ones that will come, and then the regular players in the team competition. That's how you build a team. And then there is something called transition. You need to have a slow transition to build a team as well. So if you move, let's say 70% out and leave 30%, which means you are now coming to build the foundation from the scratch. And it will take longer. But if you maintain the same players, let's say the key players that the coach, coming in coach, you've seen the players and you know that, okay, that can help me achieve what I want. You maintain them and then try to bring in new ones that can strengthen the team. So if I'm in Chris Hughton's situation, that's exactly what I'm going to do.
Chris Hughton's contract duration with the Ghana Football Association is yet to be officially announced, and as and when they do that, we'll be here to share that with you. You can head on to myjoyonline.com and read some more sports stories. Up next is World News.
Afternoon, welcome to Showbiz here on JoyNews. Now, Kumasi was the place to be as patrons of the Osei Chrome Invasion 2023 experience a time of their lives. Patrons dance away to exciting tunes and performances by some of Ghana's biggest artists.
The Osei Chrome Invasion was an electrifying night at Ratri Park in an event put together by Lawson Herbal and powered by Love FM and Insure FM. The star-studded show lived up to the bills as patrons were thrilled by some of Ghana's finest music talents, led by Shatta Wale and Medical. Shatawale after his performance and treated the supporters to prepare for a greater 2023.
Osei is a place like a home to me, because anytime I come here, they like to support me and they like to, just patronize in whatever I do. And I just want to say I love everybody in Osei. Well, a whole lot of things. I'm dropping EPs, I'm doing some collaborations, opening a few businesses around because I still want to do business. So after Shaxi, there is a business coming up, so watch out.
The SM boss advised the youth not to put their hopes on politicians.
I just want to tell them they should work, they should be themselves, and do what they got to do, because I think we've been in this system for long and politicians have been telling us this and that, and things are not still working in the country. And I have decided as a person, to do things my way, and I feel it's working for me with no disrespect. I've been moving positively, I've been doing things myself. So I think that's a little advice I can give them. They should just try and be themselves, and work hard, put in some work so they can also make life better for themselves.
Other artists spoke about their 2023 resolution.
So you already know how Asaka we do our thing. Yeah, more madness on the way, more tunes, more craziness on the way.
Can do spirit, go get it. What you say? You can do when you stay focused.
I'm getting ready to release my EP, and then Tolega is a song on top here. So guys, watch out for Brian. I'm coming to gunshot.
Some enthused fans could not hold on to the joy of seeing their favorite music stars perform for them.
I don't even know what to do, what to say. I'm so excited.
It was full of energy, and I really liked the whole composure and the atmosphere. It was energetic, and I really loved it. I like the atmosphere.
Wandon is the greatest musician in Ghana, no doubt. So his performance, you can look at it. He killed it everywhere. Non-stop performance, hit back to back. You get that? 3 hours performance, back to back hits.
Fucking landlord.
He's the legend, living legend in Ghana now.
He just said one thing: never put your eye on any politician for this Ghana. I swear there. He's the right man.
These are enthused Shatta fans. They are so excited about the performances that came through tonight. From the Kumasi Ratri Park, Nana Bwachidankwaya reporting for JoyNews.
On that note, we end showbiz here on JoyNews today. There's more showbiz news and our subsequent bulletins. My name is Becky. Good afternoon to you, Aisha.
Hello, Becky. Are you pregnant?
Not yet. Hopefully.
All right. I'll be the one to announce
month.
that pregnancy. That's how we end the bulletin this afternoon. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. Log on to myjoyonline.com for more news. Do enjoy the rest of our.
I'm not pregnant.
You'll be very soon.